All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the third part of the show, we're going to now talk about the Travis Kelce Andy Reid altercation. During the break, I just was constantly saying disastrous to myself to make sure to get the word right because I really just, I really just butchered how, saying the word. But listen, it happens. It happens. Um, yeah, so I just wanted to talk about this because I know people, were making memes out of it, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, I lost respect for Travis Kelce after that," and they both spoke upon it. Travis Kelce said I was telling him how much I love him, which is not true, and I'm curious to see if they're going to release the audio of what was said. Now, Andy Reid said it was something that just is keeping him young. Um, and this is not the first time that something like this has happened, because earlier in the year, and this was on Christmas when Kelce like threw his helmet and it just like went flying. Someone was bringing the helmet back to Kelce when they were about to go back on the field, and Andy Reid stopped him, and they were like, "No, don't give him back his helmet." Um, so let's not pretend like Travis Kelce hasn't been, if you even want to call that being disciplined before. But yeah, Andy Reid basically said he keeps me young. Oh, test that hip out. He caught me off balance. Normally I give him a little, but I didn't have any feet under me. Yeah, because I mean, I didn't realize until I saw like I first saw when I was watching the game live, but I didn't realize watching it again that yeah, Andy Reid like almost fell to the ground. Um, so imagine if Andy Reid did end up falling, like that would have been really bad. But yeah, this all happened because you have the big play to McCole Hardman, which again I thought was going to get intercepted, but it didn't. And then literally right after that, Pacheco fumbles, and Kelce was not on the field for the play. So I think he was just saying like you got to have me on the field, give me the ball, like. And Kelce really didn't do much in the first half. Then in the second half, completely different. But yeah, I mean, he really just got in Andy Reid's face, and he was really upset, and he almost knocked over his coach. Um, but I mean, on both sides, both from Travis Kelce and Andy Reid, I mean, it's water under the bridge at this point. I mean, it's not really a big deal. But I mean, the reaction on social media, it's like, oh, I lost so much respect for Kelce. He's got anger issues, and honestly, yeah, I mean, it's not the first time Kelce is, again, not the first time he's acted out. There was another time last year he fumbled against the Titans and he threw his helmet. Also, he got ejected from a game back in, I think it was 2016 against the Jaguars. That was another time I could think of. So yeah, it's not the first time, but yeah, I mean, listen, like Andy Reid says it's not a big deal, so I think shouldn't we all say, yeah, it's not a big deal? And again, it's the Super Bowl. This is the biggest game of the year, and I guess yeah, maybe Travis Kelce could lose it a little bit on the sidelines. So I can't really be like, oh yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess when it comes to you know playing in the biggest game of the year, yeah, you're gonna be a little emotional, especially when you got a big play that happens that sets up you know a, your team possibly scoring, and then you got Pacheco fumbling, and you're not on the field for that play. So yeah, I mean, I understand his frustration, but I mean, yeah, you almost took out your coach. Andy Reid almost ended up on the ground. But yeah, it's just the reaction was just and that people lost respect for him. I mean, you go back to the AFC Championship game with the Justin Tucker situation. I mean, he just throws his equipment, into the end zone. Yeah, I mean, again, both sides said it's not a big deal, but yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, it's a little childish. I mean, like, why are you doing that? but I don't know. Um, yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, I think people are just kind of sick of the whole Travis Kelsey, Taylor Swift thing. That's the other thing too. So everybody's just looking for something to just complain about, and this is again another thing. But that's what happens in the age of social media. You are literally under this microscope, and you got to be careful with what you do and what you say. I mean, that goes for myself and everybody else that has a platform. Well, obviously there's people that have much bigger platforms, so they're under an even bigger microscope, um, like Travis Kelsey. But yeah, I mean, you got to watch what you do, what you say, because yeah, you're going to be critiqued on everything, and this is one of those things. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's that side to it where like, what if Andy Reid falls and gets hurt? Like, that's on you, because yeah, he came out of nowhere, and yeah, I mean, it's just it's again, it's the Super Bowl, it's the biggest game of the year, and you're not out on the field for that play, so I understand the frustration, but yeah, I mean, I understand why people are saying you don't want to show your coach up like that, because yeah, that's your coach, like, but I mean, I don't think Andy Reid's a pushover. Because again, earlier in the season, what happened on Christmas? Kelce throws his helmet. Andy Reid's like, "Do not give him his helmet back." You know, um, but listen, at the end of the day, it's it seems like it's water under the bridge, and you know, um, Chiefs ended up winning the Super Bowl anyways. So and that play, and listen, the play that Kelce missed where Pacheco fumbled, it didn't have any impact. 49ers didn't really do 49ers didn't do anything with the ball, right? I don't think they scored on that play. I mean, on that drive. Check back. Actually check quickly. But yeah, it's not like it really led to anything. It's not like it was like a scoop and score. Now, if it was a scoop and score, yeah, then I could see why you'd be red hot. Um, but yeah, let's see. Yeah, no, it didn't lead to anything. The Niners punted after that. So, but you know what? I get it. You want to be on the field, and for some reason he wasn't, and yeah, he voiced his frustration by almost, you know, knocking his coach over. But yeah, again, like it just all goes back to, in this age now where you're judged by whatever people can see everything essentially. And I'm really curious to see if they are going to end up releasing the audio for that, but I don't know if they will. But you know what? Kelce and Andy Reid have been through many battles together over the years. Um, you know, it's they're a family essentially. And obviously, things are gonna happen, and he did a little more than voice his frustration by, like I said, almost knocking him over, but yeah, that's the kind of relationship they have. And and I understand people saying, him getting really upset, and it looks like, yeah, it might have some anger problems, which, you know, yeah, it doesn't look good, but um again, you're playing like all that adrenaline. You're playing in the biggest game of the year. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna be fired up. I mean, look at Kelce after they won. Everybody's clowning him for, like, the Viva Las Vegas, which I thought was funny, but I get it. I think it's just it's again just looking for another thing to just not like the Chiefs, because that's what the Chiefs have become now, is the new villain. And you know they'll look at Kelce and his behavior. They'll talk about him being childish and just whatever. I get it. And a lot of people are tired of seeing this team succeed. But listen, they're not going anywhere. They are they are gonna try to run it back next year, and like I talked about in the last segment, there are teams that can dethrone him, but will they be able to? I don't know. I don't know. So, but again, I mean, with both of these, with both these guys, I mean, again, not a big deal. Um, you know, it's again not something you want to see because again, like Kelce knocks over Andy Reid. I mean, that's on live TV in the Super Bowl. I mean, that looks really bad. And I don't even think. But also, you even now again, this is from what I see. When he goes up to Andy Reid, Andy Reid looks like he's about to fall over. Kelce had like his arm around him or like was grabbing him. So it's not like he was. I guess he was trying to prevent him from falling. If you see that, I don't think anyone's really talked about that, but at least that's from the angle that I from what I see. But yeah, um, it's again not something you want to see, but it's just you're playing for the Super Bowl, you know. And actually, from what I saw, so I saw this TikTok and of this podcast, and they were saying that if you win the Super Bowl, it's they said it was an ick. I forgot the name of the podcast, but they were saying winning the Super like being the best is like not something that's not good. I'm like, really? So the Super Bowl, which is like the biggest thing, one of the biggest things that you can win, not just in sports but in life, like really, hoisting that Lombardi Trophy, and you're saying that's not good? It makes no sense. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. But I just wanted to because that was a TikTok I saw last night. I'm like, really? So winning the Super Bowl is not a good thing? I don't know. But I hope someone that's watching this knows what I'm talking about because I was very confused as to why that was an opinion, but whatever. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it when talking about this. Let me know what you guys think about this whole Andy Reid, Travis Kelce altercation, if you even want to call it that. I think it's gotten a little bit blown out of proportion, but again, I understand, people's complaints about it, and yeah, again not something you want to see, but yeah, I mean, I get Kelsey's frustration. Just wish it didn't look like he was trying to knock over his coach on the sideline. So when we come back from our final break of the show, we will talk about the free agent class for this year. Who the top free agents, and that'll be it for the show for today. So, with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.